All right, we'll move to the second question. AI is a big topic everywhere. And Dan, do you think that the AI has actually changed their threat actors, tactics or, strategy in regards to the disinformation campaign?
You know, I'll say this, from our perspective, I think that tech companies, their job, their responsibility in a way is to act as the guardians of trust in that digital bubble that we live in the online realm. And, detection is I think it's kind of just the beginning. It's one step, it's a very important step. You cannot go, I always say, you cannot go into surgery and have the surgeon be ready to operate on the table if you don't know how you broke your ankle. Maybe it's only a small bruise, maybe it's only a small fracture, or maybe it's completely shattered. But these are very three different types, and you have to understand. So the detection is one step. It's a very critical one, very critical one. But at the end of the day, I think that the organizations, whether they are public sector oriented or corporations, they have to have tools to build resilience and to enable the tech companies and the social media platforms. They have to allow their users to create understanding and empower them. That is also critical. And so, I mean, again, from our own perspective, if you think about Gen AI and generative AI and deepfakes, for example, right? Um, Malicious actors, fake profiles, even narratives, every single step of informational chaos, like the actor, the behavior, and the content, can be falsified now, right? The viral content can skew public narratives. We've seen Russian propaganda campaigns that was like they were very well AI driven. And for example, Iran, on the other hand, was leveraging a different type of aspect. It was more of the culturally resonating imagery that had a purpose to amplify the messages. And for example, one very interesting thing is maybe from a detection standpoint to create tools that are AI powered for the predictive analysis. Because at the end of the day, if you really want to catch the snowball early, you have to understand whether you should ignore or very closely track the snowball or potentially remediate against it immediately. And that has to come from past experience. And we have to understand if past experiences have shown us that this very type of snowball, this very type of mis and disinformation shows that there's going to be a surge in conversations, a surge in engagement, in maybe real people joining the conversation. So one very important thing from our perspective is really, let's call it having the ability to preempt and to be able to almost in real time react and sort of shift whether you should do something about it, right? And then maybe the next step, which is very complicated also, is to have that, let's call it multimedia authentication, right? Can you identify deepfakes rapidly? But deepfakes can be audio, video, pictures, text. So building a single technology in real time that can almost put a stamp of trustworthiness on any type of content. This is a very big technological challenge. We haven't seen extreme results because eventually, from what we see out there, for every dollar that is being invested in creating the antivirus against disinformation, we see 10 times more being invested into Gen AI tools and the creation and the falsification. So it's not a cat and mouse play. I think it's more of a cat versus very large rat in a laboratory with big teeth play. It's a different play.
Okay, I think thank you very much. It's clear right now. All right, so about the AI. I mean, have you seen anything in particular in Japan in this topic?
Well, first of all, the implementation of AI in the public discussion in Japan, it's more like illustrative purposes, like in political context. And we do see several fakes or maybe, sarcastic alternation of the original video to, for example, criticize or falsify some belief. In case of, for example, in the Tokyo gubernatorial election, we see several examples of such fake or altered image by AI that aim to discredit certain candidates. We also see several, say, modified examples of contents, for example, in Taiwan election, or maybe discussion in relation to the, say, Okinawa election. Now, however, the effect of this kind of material in general is rather limited in Japan. So this kind of apparently show some resilience, like of Japanese audience, like from the first side. But I think this can be very difficult to argue this, because first, the quality that we have observed in this kind of example are very primitive, let's say. So they do use some sort of AI, but the use of it is very, say, not sophisticated. And as a technological development, we will see in 2025 and further more, say, realistic, let's say, imageries or more illustrative videos and this kind of contents that you cannot, say, falsify at a glance will be more prevalent. And I believe this would be one of the potential dangerousness of AI usage in Japan in moving forward. And also, we have observed several campaigns, like the one, for example, like linked to the spam flash, that is trying to, say, automate some procedure, for example, like posting activities or even the media creation, possibly. And this kind of whole processes of disinformation and propaganda machine is now kind of be able to be automated and fully integrated with the, let's say, generative AI and other types of Gen AI. And for example, like they might be able to observe what people are saying and try to understand its context and produce some narrative or messages and content that they believe or they predicted that this is most significant for the target audience they are interacting with. So this kind of threat exists, and it's only rising as the AI is developing. On the other hand, I want to comment that AI is kind of the means. And for example, the fake video or fake imagery does not mean that, for example, like it flip the fact. And this is mostly affecting not on the fact, but rather the cognitive area of people. And I believe it's important to not only tackle this AI threat from the perspective of the technology, like detection of the fake, but also try to, protect the cognitive, area of the target audience, or for example, in Japan's context, Japanese people. And one of the things would be, for example, like the media literacy or maybe the preemptive, public communication or strategic communication, or maybe, the education more about the threat of the, for example, manipulation or how dangerous they are. But I believe this kind of the multi-phase approach, like not only from the technological perspective, but also like the approach to the society and approach to the people actually who will process that threatful information is crucial.
Okay, thank you. Hearing from both of you that AI is really changing the landscape of this area, and we need to keep watching what's going to happen.